Hi there, I'm Malcolm McCance, and thanks for taking a look at this video. I wanted to talk to you briefly about my passion around helping businesses accelerate both their growth and profitability. And I do this through a battle-tested framework. Now, as I get into this and I walk you through some of the points I'm going to cover today, I want you to ask yourself two questions. Would my approach be right for you? And should we talk? Now, as you can see from the agenda that I've set out, I'm just going to talk a little bit about me so you know who I am, why B2B companies, why I work with them, and a better approach perhaps that you could look at for your business and how you're growing it and its profitability. And then, of course, what the journey would look like and how do you get started. So as we do that, let me just move over to the next slide here. My passion for systems started a very long time ago. And that was when I was working on my grandfather's farm, learning to seed the fields, drive the tractors, the heavy equipment, being quite young at the time. In addition to that, I worked on a hog farm and ran the whole operation while the farmer was gone on vacation. I've also worked on a ranch and was able to round up cattle on horseback. A lot of fun, great experiences. But each one of these experiences showed me that all of these different areas of work had systems attached to them. And these systems, if you did the right system, would make your work that much easier or that much less difficult in some cases. Now, I also worked in a furniture store and I had to lay out the design of the furniture store and put merchandise out under the direction of my manager at the time, but he would leave a lot up to me. And so I started to learn the importance of systems. Well, from there, I started to build some technical skills and implemented networks and wiring cables in, switch boxes, routers, you name it. And then from there, I started to get into software and really look at how software could impact business. And as a rep selling software, I was working at a company called Soft Options. I started in that role, and in 18 months, I'd sold $7.4 million worth of software. And it was an amazing experience, an amazing ride. And so I was promptly promoted to general manager of the organization because our sales in the organization were only about $12 million per year. So I was a very significant contributor. And then once in that role as head of operations or general manager, I saw that the business could go so much further. And so I decided to buy the business from the owner. Great opportunity, bad situation. So what ended up happening was I purchased the company. We got into a situation where Y2K had hit, our sales dropped dramatically because of it. And the business owner had committed all kinds of fraud. And so as a result of that, when I tried to really get things turned around, do more services, we had a small service wing to the business and I was trying to expand that rapidly. Well, we couldn't do it fast enough because we ran out of money. And the reason was that the previous business owner and some of his cronies inside the organization had set up all kinds of fraudulent transactions and basically cooked the books, which left me high and dry. And so I learned about crisis management. I had to let 22 people go. I had to go through receivership. I was dealing with lawyers, the tax department. There's a lot of shit that hits the fan, pardon my language, when this kind of stuff goes down. And so as a result of that, I learned an awful lot. Now, my focus has continued to be on the B2B space. To business sales is what I love. It's where my passion lies. And I know how to succeed in this market. This is what I do day in and day out. Now, having said that, having 30 plus years experience in this space, I still have probably even a greater passion for what I do. And the reason being is that I am really focused on helping companies succeed. Now, when I was at Microsoft as a channel manager for the ERP systems, or Microsoft Dynamics as it's now called, I started with that channel at $20 million in gross channel revenue. 6 years later, when I finished, we were at 120 million. I had helped all of those organizations grow their executive capacity and strength. so that they could better lead their teams and better lead their organizations. We worked on their sales and negotiating, sales management skills. I helped them up-level their marketing, their technology skills, their project management skills. There were so many different areas that we focused on, including vertical industry selection, which took some of those partners from being a Me Too partner to being very focused on one niche that really blew them up as far as their growth and profitability. So those are some of the things that I've done in the past, including training. I say hundreds here, but I think it's thousands of sales reps on the solution selling methodology, which is just one methodology for complex sales. And I did that training for both the sales reps and sales manager training. And then I've worked with a number of companies around their sales process and their sales process mapping. Now, as we go to the next slide here, I work with companies really that have a growth mindset, that may be feeling frustrated and stuck, that want to be in a category of one. They want to stand out from everybody else, or they know that there's a next level, but they're not quite sure how to get there. How do I execute on getting to that next level? So as we carry on here, what I do is I work with the organizations and the leadership in the organizations to really get them to focus on their people and then playbooks, and more holistically, I would call it a business operating system. So the question is, what is a business operating system? Well, it's taking all of these different things that you do in your organization and really getting it all aligned and going in the same direction. And so really it's about alignment across the entire organization. So as we look at that, you'll see that we get everybody pointed in the same direction. And so all of a sudden your energies are very focused and streamlined, and everybody knows what they're doing and how they're supposed to be doing it. And there's so many pieces to a business. And if you don't put it all together correctly, you may be driving down the road without a door, or maybe you're missing some wheels and you're not driving. Like, there's so many components that you need to consider. And so that's the kind of work that I do. I help you put that all together so that it's very clear where you're headed. Now, there's lots of great philosophies that we've adopted, that I've taken in and, curated the best of the best, in essence. And I'm not, putting these other organizations down. We definitely work with them and, support their work, and in fact, use their work in our work. But the challenge here is you'll see these good and weak areas, and you'll see that there's an awful lot of weak and just good areas. So we're missing a lot of really important components in all of these different philosophies. So I'm really talking about taking a whole new path, a different approach. And that approach is one that's more curated to help you achieve your pinnacle of success. And so what I do is I take the best of the best methodologies, the best approaches, the best tools, and help you bring in those things that matter to you in your organization. That's really what it's all about. It's about helping you reach your pinnacle of success with the right tools for you. So I don't prescribe anything, though I will highly recommend certain things, but really it's all about your business. And so when we look at this, we've got these 5 areas that I'll focus on with you. And that includes your people, your purpose, your playbooks, your performance, and your profits. When all of that is aligned, both in your mind and in the mind of everybody in the organization, it's so much easier to achieve that profitability and growth that you're looking for. And so now, as we go through this, I'm just going to quickly highlight these other areas. I can work with you across your people. And here's just 4 examples of some tools that we can use. And I'm going to show you 4 examples from each of the 5 areas. But in all, I have over 81 tools that I can rely on to support you in your growth. So talent assessments, working on functional accountability, process accountability, and team health. There are some examples of the tools, and I'm just going to fly through that. But then we get into strategy and vision and your plan and your brand message and your culture. Getting your culture right means you can hire right. You can hire people with the right cultural fit, which means you're going to retain people better and easier. Now, as I skip through the tools there, you'll see that there's a number of resources that I can bring to play. We get into our playbook, and that's about your core processes. How do you do what you do? Are you practicing those skills? If somebody was out of the office today, would their function stop, or could somebody pick it up and carry on? And when they come back, they can take it up again. Meeting structures. Meetings are such a waste of time if they're done incorrectly, but they're so vital to success. So that's an important factor. And then we have what we call fast rocks. And fast rocks are all about achieving your quarterly goals and those bigger nuggets that you have to really push off to the side or climb over so that you can be successful. Then I'll talk to you and work with you around performance. And really it is a staged approach or a waterfall approach, if you want to call it that. We really have to do it in that flow to be most successful with it, though we can kind of pick and choose what we're doing as we go. So we look at performance, a scorecard. How are you doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? And so we could implement something called winning the week. And you can do a quick review with your team about what the week looks like. Then we also have the power of one, profits first, discipline, and the flywheel concept. So there's lots of different things that we can do to support your business and help it grow. And then if we look at the whole journey, we're starting with a base camp. It's 2 to 3 days. From there, we go into quarterly summits, annual overnights, and we're really drilling down on what we've achieved over the previous period and what our goals are going forward. If there's anything we need to correct, then we correct those items and we move forward. So it's a very engaging process. It's a very exhilarating process for both the business owners and myself, quite frankly, to be able to participate in this with you as we take you through all of these stages. So this is just an example of what a base camp could look like. And then finally here, just in this last 2 slides, I get back to my questions. Should we talk? And would my approach to scaling your B2B business be right for you? If you're thinking about any of these 5 areas, how to become the solution of choice for your upmarket target customers, you really want to grow and go to that next level, we should talk. What about providing exceptional value that reduces churn, both of customers and employees? How do you do that? We should talk. What about if you want to innovate faster and stay ahead of the competition? Again, give me a call. Hiring and retaining top talent with ease. How do you make that happen? I've got a whole methodology around that. And then finally, managing inflation and increased product development costs effectively. These are just some examples of things that are challenges that we can talk about. And I look forward to doing that. I welcome you to call me anytime. This 800 number is directly to my mobile phone. And you can also use this link to contact me and schedule a brief introduction meeting. All right. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great day.